What's up, social media? As you probably know by now, I did it. 30 miles in the books. We did it in 7 hours and 16 minutes. So our placings were 13, 14, 15 because me, Matt, and Zach crossed the finish line at the exact same time, which was my idea, and I ended up getting the 15th place. Go figure. Full disclosure, if Matt hadn't hung back with us, that dude for sure would have cracked top 5, potentially even won. He's an absolute animal. So watch out for him in the future. I want to make this video to kind of give a little insight of what I did to prepare, how the race went, and what the aftermath was like. So I got my notes. Hopefully I don't forget anything. I'm going to try to keep it short, but there's kind of a lot. So we'll see what I can do. So preparation. Essentially, you want to work your mileage up. So at the time that I signed up for the race, I was doing between 3 to 4-ish mile runs. Those were all trails. And then basically just every week I tried to make sure that I was getting as many as I could in without causing some type of injury from overdoing it. And then at the end of each week, or just really whenever was convenient, I would try to get out to the trail to do a longer run. So I think my first long run was like 6 miles, and then did an 8, and then did a 9. Then we did a 12, then we did a 15. The longest I did was 20. Matt got out there for a 25 before the race. I didn't, it's very time consuming, and I just got busy and I wasn't able to get that 25-mile run in, which ultimately was a bit of a detriment, and I'll talk about that. But work your way up to something pretty damn close to whatever mileage you're trying to do. And I guess I can really only speak for a 30-miler. I have no idea how this works for a 50 or 100. Because remember, I'm just some dumb meathead that decided to try this out. I winged it. I have no idea what I'm talking about. This is all empirical knowledge. So, I worked my way up, right? And then I threw in some speed work. So here and there, I would do like sprints on the treadmill. You could do sprints, anywhere really, or just like really fast short runs. And then I got this from Nick Bear. He would talk about how 80% of your run should be distance and 20% of your run should be speed. And with those distance runs, you're trying to build up your engine. So that was basically my thought process was no matter what I was doing, I was trying to just condition my body, condition my feet, condition my lungs, condition everything that was going to carry me for 30 miles straight. Speaking of feet, one thing that's very important is you get the right footwear. So, I got Ultra Superiors. These are my road shoes, Brooks. The Ultras are in the other room. But those are the shoes I like. They're zero drop, so that they get you a little closer to the ground, and they're wide toe box, which is really important for me and my bunion. So, you can try those out, or you can do some research, right? Think about your needs and what you might want and will benefit you the most. Now, what I can talk about is inserts. So, I made a video talking about, maybe it was just a post, talking about the inserts I got from Running Central. So basically with that one, you go in and there's a platform that you stand on and then you walk across. So it measures your gait, kind of how you position the pressure of your weight as you're standing, and just stuff like that. And then they give you a general answer to which one in their stock would fit you the best. So my big problem was I had a high arch and I wasn't having support with that plantar fascia, and I was getting plantar fasciitis. So they got me these and it worked very well. Now, then my buddy Eric, who I also train, he works for a company who does molds for inserts. So he brought over these boxes, and basically they look like styrofoam, but you can just touch them with barely any pressure and there becomes an indent. So he had me do that with both my feet. One I applied a little bit more pressure with, one I applied a little bit less. And it really customizes exactly the shape of your foot, where this is kind of an estimate, and this is precisely how that bottom of my foot is shaped. And on top of that, there's much more density to this. So, and once again, I'm not trying to rip on Running Central. This is just facts. If you look, that's kind of like paper thin almost. And after so many runs, I started to feel it wear down. That's got multiple layers. That right there is like a plate, right? Where, I mean, that is too, but nowhere near the structural components. And then I also had a little issue with my heel, my right heel. So Eric added a little extra cushion on the heel of my right side. So against his better judgments, because I got these kind of late to the game, against his better judgments, I basically ran on him the entire race before actually breaking them in, and I had no problems. Even with this one, I'd still have a little bit of ache and pain that I would just push through, you know? This, I mean, I had no issues whatsoever with my feet. It was absolutely amazing. So, his company is AJR Brands Orthotics. His name's Eric Settingard. Maybe I will tag him in this post. And if anybody is interested in getting your own custom insert, you can reach out to him and he'll hook you up. Now, I must disclose, these were much cheaper than these, but you get what you pay for. And when you look in terms of longevity, those that are really interested in making an investment, you can't go wrong here. So that's that. On top of those orthotics, I had to make sure that I was wearing my toe spacers, especially the morning of the race, and I was rolling out the bottom of my foot with a lacrosse ball. Fuel and supplements. Fuel, you just got to eat the food that's going to agree with you and will be highly caloric, a lot of times high glycemic, which means a lot of sugar. You'll be able to stomach, so like you'll be able to eat and then continue running, and it won't give you any issues like make you go to the bathroom or anything. Because there's only one row of porta potties, and that's back at base camp. So when you're out there for your 10-mile loop, that's how long you have before you get back to the bathroom. So my fuel was Jimmy John's sandwich that I would kind of eat on as the day progressed. Let's see, Pop-Tarts, Rice Krispie Treats, and Stingers, which are like these little waffle-shaped things, basically carbohydrates. They taste phenomenal. The three of us were smashing those. And we were eating about every 4 miles. So each of us were really making sure the other one was staying on top of food, because it's incredibly important. The day of that morning, I had a shake. So a protein shake, banana, almond butter. I think that was it. And then on top of that, you just want to make sure you get electrolytes. So I was drinking electrolytes that morning. If it's hot out and you're sweating, you probably want to drink electrolytes during. I didn't, though. I didn't feel the need to, but I did drink a carb drink. So I'd have a water bottle and a carb drink, and I would just sip on that, and then I would drink my water. Oh, and then caffeine. So, I mean, I'm not saying caffeine is needed, but it absolutely helps. So a lot of times I'd have a fat burner when I was doing my training, but for the actual race, I just drank a Monster, and it was perfect. So you want to run at the place that you're going to do your race, if possible, as much as possible. So we would always pick Farmdale if we were going to do a trail run. A lot of times you'd have to do road running, just because to get to a trail, to do those long runs, get back, it's very time consuming, because there's the travel time and everything. So when it was necessary, I would just go run out on the road. At the end of the day, you just want to get miles in, and you just want to acclimate your feet to being able to carry you for that long. Okay, race day. Don't forget your bib at home like I did. I was going to be there about 30 minutes early, which would have been awesome because I was able to warm up and move around a little bit. And we were at the Casey's over by Farmdale when I realized I forgot my bib in my car. We took Stevie's. So she really saved the day, flew home, got the bib, returned back to Farmdale, and I had probably 2 minutes to spare. So very little warm-up time. Another real testament to these orthotics. I mean, I had zero time to loosen up, and yeah, I felt great the whole race. It's pretty amazing. But it was very stressful, and you don't want to deal with that. So, well, like I said, there's 10-mile loops, and the first one was pretty chill. The second one was probably the toughest, if there was. I mean, we carried on pretty well, but the second one, when you're around 14, 15 miles in, you're halfway, that can kind of play a mental game with you. But overall, wasn't bad. And then the third loop was a coast. I mean, it was a high. It really was. You're running on just straight will and adrenaline. And yeah, all of our loops, they progressively got a little bit slower, but it was relatively consistent. Every once in a while, someone takes a spill. I never fell. I just almost fell multiple times, or almost rolled my ankle, but it never actually happened. So my nickname became Wobbly Weston. And Zach was Zach Frost because he had frost on his shirt at one point. And then Matt was obviously that Matt the Machine because he's a psychopath. Yep. So there was points of the race that there's one part you'd have to walk through water. But if you went to the right of that water, there were these rocks, these stones, and we would just go over there and kind of frogger to the other side. A lot of people were just running straight through, but the way I see it is if I can avoid having wet shoes, avoid having wet socks, I'm going to do it. So that would have cut a little bit, or that would have added a little bit of time, but it was totally worth it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That night, I had a party, a Halloween party, and I was like rushing to it. I was pretty much late for it. It seemed to be the trend for the day, but I didn't stretch at all. I didn't take any Epsom salt bath. I didn't do anything to recover. I got home, I showered, I cracked open a beer, went to the party, kept drinking. So there's no way I ate enough food to replenish what I burned. I might have drank enough water, but still probably not. And I paid for it. The next day was brutal. It was the most sore I've ever been in my joints, in my bones. My muscles, like I could tell that they were fatigued, but my actual kneecaps and my ankles, they literally felt like somebody took a baseball bat to them. It was terrible. I could barely move. And fortunate enough, my wife Stevie, who was pregnant, waited on me hand and foot and really took care of me. Brought me food, brought me everything I needed, ice. So that's what I did. I just laid up, my feet up, put ice on my knees, ate, drank water, took an Epsom salt bath, and yeah, just dealt with the misery. And that's why I think that's partially because I never got in that 25-ish mile run. I only did a 20, and that jump from 20 to 30, I believe, was just something that was substantial enough that my body just wasn't ready for. So while I was doing it, I had no problem. But the aftermath was very, very brutal. By the next day, I was okay. I was moving around a little funny, but overall, I was pretty much better by Tuesday, Wednesday. I believe I was totally fine. So I think that's it. I do want to just say thank you to DJ for putting the race on, and Lyle Block, everybody else that was there helping out. Those guys are just so cool. They're busting your balls the whole time, but just really good people. That whole atmosphere was awesome. Good vibes all around. So, 15 minutes. I think I did okay. In terms of explaining all this, if anybody has any questions, please reach out to me. I'll tell you whatever I can. Once again, I'm just a dumb meathead that decided to put myself through hell for the fun of it. But I can say that it was an amazing experience that I'll never forget. And who knows, I might do another one. So, thanks to everybody that stuck around and listened to this whole thing. I hope I didn't bore you too much. And remember, no one cares you run ultras. All right. See you, everybody.